Have you ever felt like the world just keeps saying no to you? No to your dreams, your plans, your potential? If that sounds familiar, stop right here. Because this isn't just the story of a billionaire. It's the story of someone who failed again and again, someone who got rejected so often that most people would have quit. But he didn't. Jack Ma, a man who had every reason to give up, simply said, "I'll try again tomorrow." That's what makes this story powerful. It's not about money. It's about grit, about believing when no one else does. So, if you've ever felt invisible, powerless, or not good enough, this story might just change how you see yourself, because this next few minutes could light a fire inside you that never goes out. His real name? Ma Yun, born in Hangzhou, China, in 1964, not into wealth or privilege, but into a modest home without a TV, a car, or anything fancy. He was small, frail, and never considered special. But what set him apart was curiosity. While most kids played, he asked questions about the world, about language, about people beyond China. At just 12, he began riding his old bicycle every morning to the city's only hotel that welcomed foreign tourists, not for money, not for fame, just to talk, to practice English. He did this every single day, for 9 years, just to learn. But he wasn't a great student. In fact, he failed his exams more than once. Middle school? Failed twice. High school? Failed 3 times. Even the college entrance exam? Failed twice. In a country where test scores define your future, these failures were crushing. But Jack didn't break. On his 3rd try, he finally got in. Hangzhou Teachers Institute, majoring in English. After graduation, things didn't get easier. He applied to 30 jobs. Rejected by all. The police turned him away. KFC hired 23 people, except him. One hotel said he wasn't good-looking enough, that he talked too much, that he lacked the right skills. But instead of quitting, Jack said just one thing: "I'll find my own way." While guiding some tourists around his hometown, Jack became close to an American family. They struggled to pronounce Ma Yun, so they gave him a nickname, Jack. That small change marked a new chapter. Through them, Jack learned more about the world, about possibilities far beyond China's borders. Inspired, he began dreaming bigger. He applied to Harvard, not once, not twice, 10 times, and every single time, the answer was no. But Jack didn't sulk. He laughed and said, "Even if Harvard doesn't want me, maybe the world still does." Years later, at the age of 31, Jack saw the internet for the very first time. It wasn't magical at first glance. It was just a screen. But what he typed changed everything. The word beer. He saw results from America, Germany, but nothing from China. Curious, he searched China. Still, barely anything showed up. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. He sat by the window, eyes wide open, thinking, how can a country of over 1 billion people have no presence online? That moment hit hard. Maybe China wasn't on the internet because no one had put it there yet. Maybe the person to change that wasn't someone else. Maybe it could be him. Sure, he didn't understand coding. He had no clue how websites worked. But he recognized something bigger. There was a gap, and where there's a gap, there's an opportunity. After returning to China, Jack had one mission: bring Chinese businesses online. He borrowed $2,000 from friends and launched his first startup, China Pages. The goal was simple but visionary: help small companies build websites and connect with the world. But the timing wasn't right. Back then, few people had even seen a computer, let alone trusted the internet. Many thought it was a scam. Shop owners laughed, saying, "Who would ever buy something from a screen?" Jack knocked on door after door, trying to explain the future. But China wasn't ready. Rules were unclear. Support was minimal. And trust? Almost non-existent. China pages struggled and eventually failed. But Jack didn't call it a loss. He called it a lesson. "Good," he said. "One thing didn't work. I'll try another." By 1999, he was 35 years old, still carrying the fire of his dream. One day, he invited 17 friends to his small apartment in Hangzhou. There were no chairs, no fancy office, just the floor, some snacks, and one bold vision. Jack stood and said, "I'm starting a company. It will help Chinese businesses reach the global market. I'm calling it Alibaba." The name? Familiar, magical, easy to remember. "Open sesame," he explained. "We'll open doors for small businesses." His friends were intrigued, some excited, some skeptical, but 18 of them became Alibaba's first believers. There was no money, no tech infrastructure, and no investors lining up. But Jack had something money couldn't buy: a group of people crazy enough to believe in the impossible. In those early days, Alibaba had no fancy office, no plush chairs, and certainly no salaries. The team worked out of Jack's tiny apartment, eating cheap noodles, sleeping on the floor, and pouring every ounce of energy into a dream. There was no comfort, but there was belief. Jack treated his team like family. "If we have only one bowl of rice," he once said, "we'll share it." That wasn't a quote. It was a way of life. When money started to run low, Jack knocked on the doors of more than 10 banks. All of them said no. Too risky. No clear plan. Not enough potential. But Jack didn't lose hope. He kept pitching, kept refining, kept going. Then came a turning point. In 2000, Jack met Masayoshi Son, the founder of SoftBank. The meeting lasted just 5 minutes. Jack spoke with passion, with vision, with fire. At the end of it, Son said, "I'll invest $20 million in your company." Jack was stunned. "You don't want to see my business plan?" he asked. Son smiled and replied, "I'm not investing in a plan. I'm investing in the person." He had no money, no connections, and no tech skills, just a dream and relentless spirit. But now, with one believer and $20 million, Jack Ma was about to change the course of history. Unlike many CEOs who try to be the smartest voice in the room, Jack Ma had a different approach. He hired people smarter than himself. His goal wasn't to outshine them, but to unlock their potential. To him, leadership meant lifting others up. Inside Alibaba, it wasn't just a workplace. It was a tribe. Jack made sure everyone felt valued, from coders to cleaners. "If you want people to act like owners," he said, "treat them like owners." Respect wasn't a policy. It was the heartbeat of the company. Alibaba's office culture was anything but ordinary. Each morning began with music and movement, stretching, jumping, even dancing. Weekends meant karaoke nights, even though Jack could barely hold a note. That didn't matter. What mattered was bonding, singing, laughing, cheering. This was how they stayed together. Even the nicknames were part of the magic. Jack was known as Crazy Jack, and others had names like Big Mouth or Tiger Face. It may sound silly, but it worked. These quirky names gave people a sense of belonging, of being part of something fun, bold, and unique. For Jack, joy wasn't a distraction from success. It was a strategy. "Energy creates results," he often said, and Alibaba's energy was electric. By 2002, Alibaba was gaining momentum in China. Thousands of small businesses had joined, trade was increasing, and the internet's potential was starting to shine. But just as things looked promising, a storm rolled in. eBay. The American giant entered China with power, money, and global experience. They quickly acquired a local platform called EachNet and began capturing market share. Even Jack's own team grew nervous. "Jack, eBay is too big. We can't win," they said. But Jack didn't flinch. Standing before his worried team, he delivered a now legendary line. "eBay is a shark in the ocean, but we are a crocodile in the Yangtze River. If we fight in the ocean, we lose, but in our own river, we win." He understood China better than anyone at eBay. He knew its language, culture, and how small businesses thought, so he made a bold move. In 2003, Alibaba launched Taobao, a direct challenge to eBay, but with one radical difference: it was free. While eBay charged sellers to list their products, Taobao let them sell at no cost. "Let's win their hearts first. The money will follow," Jack declared. And he wasn't just building a website. He was building the future of Chinese commerce. His team worked around the clock, often sleeping under their desks. Instant noodles became dinner, bug fixes became routine, and the mission became their obsession. Jack roamed the office at midnight, telling jokes, lifting spirits, and reminding them, "One day, you'll tell your kids you helped build China's internet." Taobao wasn't just a platform, it was a home. Unlike eBay's sterile layout, Taobao introduced playful colors, helpful tips, and, most importantly, a live chat system that let buyers and sellers connect directly. It felt human, local, friendly. While eBay operated like a corporate machine, Taobao felt like a neighborhood shop run by your friend. That was the secret. That's why it worked. Then came 2005, a defining moment. Yahoo, one of the biggest tech players in the world, approached Jack Ma with an offer. They wanted to invest $1 billion in exchange for 40% of Alibaba. Jack agreed, but with one firm condition: we control the company. No matter how much money comes in, Alibaba stays in our hands. This injection of capital changed everything. With the new funds, Jack expanded Taobao's services, hired more developers, opened larger offices, and trained a growing army of sellers. The platform became faster, smarter, more user-friendly, and most importantly, more trusted. Meanwhile, eBay struggled. Despite its deep pockets and aggressive strategies, it couldn't keep up with Taobao's momentum. They couldn't replicate its community spirit, its local charm, or the sense of belonging that users felt. By 2006, eBay waved the white flag and shut down its China operations. The Western giant had lost to a local underdog. But instead of boasting, Jack reminded his team of the real reason they won. "We didn't win because we were stronger. We won because we were closer to the people. Let's never forget that. We are here to serve." With eBay out of the picture, Alibaba accelerated. It launched AliExpress to help Chinese sellers reach global buyers, developed Alibaba Cloud to rival Amazon's cloud services in Asia, and expanded Alipay into the most widely used digital wallet in China. But while the business world celebrated Jack's empire, his heart began drifting toward a new purpose. He wasn't just thinking about profits anymore. He was thinking about people, especially the next generation. Jack started to reflect deeply on education, the dreams of young students, and the values needed to build a better world. That's when he knew it was time to shift gears. He founded the Jack Ma Foundation, pouring time, energy, and resources into improving education in underserved areas. He traveled to remote schools, supported teachers in rural China, and funded learning programs in Africa, India, and Southeast Asia. Jack believed true impact wasn't just measured in billions earned, but in lives changed. He saw education not as a duty, but as a mission. In his mind, success meant giving others the tools to succeed too. More than being a billionaire, Jack wanted to become what he had once dreamed of, a teacher who inspires. Between 2010 and 2014, Alibaba exploded in size. AliExpress became a global force in cross-border trade. Alipay, now Ant Financial, overtook PayPal in China. Alibaba Cloud emerged as a serious challenger to Amazon Web Services in Asia. Taobao and Tmall dominated e-commerce. But Jack's ambitions had shifted beyond business. He often said, "Let small businesses have the power of big ones." Now, he wanted to empower the smallest people of all, students. September 19th, 2014. Wall Street buzzed with energy. Alibaba launched the largest IPO in global history. Its value soared to $231 billion. Jack Ma, the once rejected teacher from Hangzhou, became China's richest man overnight. When asked how he felt about his wealth, he smiled and replied, "It's not my money. I'm just a trustee. I want to use it wisely." Fame, power, money, it was all his. But instead of clinging to it, Jack looked ahead. He began building schools, meeting rural teachers, and encouraging children to believe in themselves. He once said, "If I must choose between being a billionaire or a teacher, I choose teaching." He didn't speak in boardrooms anymore. He spoke in classrooms, auditoriums, and dusty village schools. To teenagers, he said, "Don't chase money, chase curiosity. Don't fear failure, let it shape you. Don't aim to be the best, aim to be different." Slowly, Jack's image changed from entrepreneur to educator, from tycoon to mentor. On September 10th, 2019, his 55th birthday and China's Teacher's Day, Jack Ma made a choice few billionaires make. He stepped down from Alibaba, not because he was tired, but because he believed great leaders know when to walk away. "If I stay too long, I'll turn into a boss. I want to leave as a friend," he said. Instead of a quiet exit, he gave a farewell like no other. Over 60,000 Alibaba employees filled a stadium in Hangzhou. Lights flashed, music echoed. Jack appeared on stage in a leather jacket, guitar in hand, belting out Chinese rock songs. He danced, laughed, cried. In his final speech, he said, "I was never the smartest. I failed many times, but I never gave up. If I can do it, so can you. Believe in yourself, love your dream. The best is yet to come." The crowd roared in applause. For 10 straight minutes, they clapped as Jack stepped off stage, not as a CEO, but as a friend, a symbol, a dreamer. After stepping down, Jack focused on his foundation, traveling to remote schools, funding education in underdeveloped regions, and mentoring young minds. But in late 2020, something strange happened. At a finance summit in Shanghai, Jack gave a bold speech criticizing China's outdated financial system. He argued for innovation and reform. Then, silence. No public appearances, no interviews, no posts. Jack Ma vanished. For 3 months, the world wondered, where is Jack Ma? Speculation surged. Was he detained, silenced, retired by force? Then, without warning, he reappeared in a short video, smiling gently, talking about rural education. But his energy had shifted, softer, quieter. No defiance, just focus. He never addressed the rumors. No confirmation, no denial, just a step into the shadows. And in doing so, he added another layer to his legend. Not just the man who built Alibaba, but the man who knew when to let go. Jack Ma's net worth has fluctuated over time, shaped by markets, politics, and his own choices. At his peak, he was worth nearly $70 billion. But here's what's truly remarkable. He never lived like a billionaire. No flashy cars, no designer suits. He chose simplicity. Jack is married to Zhang Ying, his college sweetheart. She once said, "He wasn't handsome, but I admired his mind." Together, they raised 3 children. Jack keeps his family out of the spotlight, spending quiet time reading, traveling, and teaching. After retiring, he returned to his roots, not to global stages, but to small rural classrooms. He once said, "If I had to choose between being a billionaire or a teacher, I'd choose teaching." He meant it. Jack's legacy isn't just business, it's inspiration. His speeches are raw, funny, and real. Here are a few lines that have changed lives. If you don't give up, you still have a chance. Help the young, help the small. One day they will change the world. Today is tough. Tomorrow is tougher. But the day after tomorrow is beautiful. Jack doesn't just motivate, he empowers. He shows you how to believe in yourself, especially when no one else does. Maybe you're sitting in a small room right now. Maybe your grades are bad. Maybe your dreams sound crazy. But listen, Jack Ma failed his exams. He was rejected by KFC, by Harvard, by investors. And still, he made it. So can you. Your rejection is not the end. It's a redirection. Your struggle isn't weakness. It's your superpower. Your pain can become your purpose. Dream big. Start small. Move fast. Keep going. Believe louder when the world doubts you most. One day, they'll ask how you did it. And you'll say, "I never stopped." If this story lit a fire inside you, if it made you believe again, even just a little, imagine how powerful it would be to hear stories like this every day. This isn't just a video. It's a home for dreamers, doers, and believers like you. Hit subscribe. Join our journey. Because this isn't the end. It's your beginning. Subscribe now, because tomorrow we rise together.